As we are watching a blast of Arctic air invade parts of the country. Let's go ahead and kick it off with the north. This is a midweek cool down is what we're labeling it, but look at these forecasted highs. These are for tomorrow, so this is when a lot of that cold air is settling in. Bismarck down to 1 degree. You're noticing that chill down in Mitchell, North Platte, Des Moines down to 10 degrees there. Chicago 25. Really that cold Arctic air, it is going to be spreading across almost 2/3 of the country by the time all is said and done. Jumping ahead to Thursday, Bismarck in the teens, Rapid City 32, Des Moines, Iowa 4 degrees there, Kansas City to Chicago, those areas struggling to get out of the teens. The reason why you have this area of high pressure, Canadian high pressure dropping down from Canada, bringing that pure Arctic air. It is cold, it is dry, and because of that, temperatures are going to be 15 to 30 degrees below their seasonal average. And you're going to feel that change from today into tomorrow quite quickly and abruptly. That Arctic blast lasting from tomorrow and through Friday. And notice some wind chill advisories have been posted through Wednesday. And this is going to be stretching in through a good northern portion of the country that includes the Dakotas and over through Minnesota there. And we could likely see some of that expand. The issue here, it's not just the very cold air. You're also going to have some whipping wind, so the wind chills are going to be quite brutal to be outside. PIERRE, South Dakota, breaking it down for you. So this is the wind chill forecast. Noticing those winds really amping up tonight in through the overnight hours. Those gusts anywhere from 40 miles per hour to the 20s by overnight, and noticing your wind chills well below zero into the teens. That Arctic blast late week then going to be spreading over to the northeast, so those Arctic highs really going to be dropping in areas from D.C. up to, up to New York and through Maine. Notice Friday night, those lows below zero in those areas, Schenectady up to Burlington as well as Bangor. Again, those are going to be the morning lows, meaning that's not factoring in those winds, which are going to be making it feel much colder. Of course, the Northeast, not the only area that's going to be battling some unseasonable chill.
I'm Amy Freeze. Welcome to Fox Weather's YouTube page. We have more great videos on the way, so make sure to subscribe to stay updated on all things weather.